Spirits visited today, sneaking in and out of my dreams, in and out, causing a sleep limbo. First a stranger at my bedside, he's rifling through my pockets. The window to the soul is open. I'm alone in a hospital room, safe and sound. There's no stranger, there's no empty pockets. Strains of Nev Cotti transfer from ear to ear. 3 doctors stand around my bed, wanting to say something, saying nothing. Eyes open, I'm alone in a hospital room, safe, no doctors, no uncomfortableness. The strains of Nev Cotti brings warmth as I drift in and out. An angel puts her wings in my locker. She leaves. Windows open, eyes open. A gentle aura fills the room. I'm alone in a hospital, safer. No Nev Cotti. My mind sings Imagine. An elderly lady sits on the edge of the bed, chatting to me. From the blue. Breakfast, she asks. No time for an answer. Windows open, eyes open. No old lady, no breakfast. I'm alone in a hospital room, safe and sound for now. And so I'd like to welcome you all to Acoustic Haven. For tonight, we have Marty McKenna on the show. And the reason that I read that particular poem, it has 2 meanings for me now. The first time I was in the hospital recovering from chemo, and I kept slipping in and out of a limbo of sleep. And all those visions are what I'd written down there. But the other thing, it became a real piece of pride for me because Marty asked me to read that when he started his button press poets on Facebook, which we will start to talk about more as the show goes on. So, Marty McKenna, everyone.
Yo! Thanks for having me, Mark.
No problem at all. So, just a wee bit of background, Marty.
Okay, so poetry-wise, I wrote
Tyrone boy.
A Tyrone boy, aye. Back in Tyrone.
Bye.
So I would have started 25 years ago. I wrote a poem when I was 16 on puppy love, and it was decipherable by an aunt, so I skipped a few years, and then so for about 25 years I've been writing poetry. Started taking it seriously around the time I was writing a novel, and I left the novel at 7th draft in 2015 and decided to go to poetry to learn language for the 10 years. So 10 years is up of 8,000 words up in the novel now at the minute, so that's good. But I started publishing 5 years ago. The first one is, I think it was 2021. So that was my first foray into publishing. And I did a wee bit of readings for each of the 3 chapbooks each year. And since getting off the drink in the last 6 months, I've really started taking performance seriously. So I've done about 50 performances in the last 6 months at open mics and festivals. And
okay, well, so why don't we
start off with a poem?
So way to go.
Brilliant. Okay, so this one is, I wrote it last year for my daughter, and it's called Letters to My Daughter number 10. And I've about 100 of these written now out of about 250 in the Word document for her. So this is Letters to My Daughter number 10. You are this early winter sun, my warmth and chill wind blinding. You are the calm to this winter lake, visible since the leaves left. You are my moment's break standing under blue sky. As these days return, you are the fresh breath of what solemn trees have to say. In 4 more lines of broken sonnet, you bring joy to me. Well, with this soaring bird call and on drifting wing, you are.
Brilliant.
Oh, thanks.
So, the chapbooks,
Yes.
the 3 that I have here, Silent, Stigma, Loud Leaf, Gently But a Dream, and Sleeve Notes, are they still available?
They're all sold out. The pretty much Silent Sigma Loud Leaf went to a second press, and so I sold 200 of those.
Well, that's brilliant.
And it's a document of my psychosis when I was in hospital the second time.
Yeah.
And it is an important wee document, and I read it. The opening poem that I read at the openings to my show to say, this is the document.
Yeah.
And I read a comparison poem that I'd written recently, and they don't compare. So I feel it's an important document. But
It definitely is. I remember you telling me once that the 3 books were shit.
well,
And I remember also saying to you that they're really important pieces of,
they are. Well,
they're
they're marks in time. I'm writing to capacity at the minute, and I feel I'm a bit bigger than I was when I was writing those. So I do feel progress, definitely, and I have to celebrate that, I suppose.
And these were your first prints? First ones on button press?
Yep.
And where does the name button press come from?
So me and my daughter used to share cards with each other, and on the back of the card we would write button press. But button press, whenever I got off the drink 6 months ago, I really buried my head in the poetry, and button press was, I didn't want to overshare poems to my inner circle on Facebook, so narcissistically I opened it to open it for myself. But then I thought I could do a lot more with this, so I invited, you were the first guest with that opening poem. With the spirituality in that poem's fantastic, I think. But I've had a plan for 24 poets, and I'm on poet 19, which I'll write up tomorrow. Paddy's poem tomorrow. It's a great metaphor for ocean and boys and seafaring. And I've also been able to network with a lot of poets. I think there's over 200 hosted poems on the page. So anybody I sit down with, it's a conversation about poetry, and I say, well, sure, give me a poem and we'll put it up on button press.
Yeah.
It's like soft publishing for them. A lot of these people haven't published before.
Yeah.
So it gives those guys an opportunity alongside established poets like yourself and Niamh McNally or Matthew Rice or someone, the academic poets even as well, So it's a great democracy, I think.
Never thought I'd be in the same breath as those two.
Oh, no.
Right, and one thing I do have to ask you.
Yes.
What is a neurodivergent poet?
I seen that.
Did you make that up? Or
no, it was bandied about.
I think it's great.
It is good. I would be the king in neurodivergence with my condition.
I will.
Okay. But it is because I get funding for 2 of those chapbooks from University of Atypical. Because of my condition, I don't have to go straight to the Arts Council and go into a queue of 100,000 people.
Yeah.
I'd be classed with other disabled artists, deaf and disabled artists. So thankfully, and I've an application in for editing for Letters Home.
Okay.
The collection I'm working on at the minute, and I've an application for funding in with the University of Atypical this year as well.
And that'll be for a book or for a chapbook?
For a book, for my first full collection.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward.
Let's hear another one.
Okay, so this is a wee poem almost about writing poems. It's called Children of Lyre. I have everything I need to make a poem. Swan, snow, and the whisper of colour lake is to my eyesight, but I can't. I love how you said original thoughts to me about the last one. I love how your interpretation makes it yours, but I can't. I want to say to you, I'm sorry I missed you. I want you to go along with the skeleton trees of winter and love fully, but I can't. In the silent fall of flakes of this morning's vital life, I want to write you a metaphor of such staggering sorrow, but I can't. necks bowed in floating snow and falling snow. These mythical give sad life to lake.
It's beautiful. Children of Lear, the connotations around that are just stunning. And I just, when you were reading that, Marty, I just realised you're the first poet, apart from myself, that's been on.
Yay! There we go. Thank you, man.
I just thought that, because we had Biddy who read her book,
Novelist.
and she was brilliant, you know.
She's fantastic.
But you're the first poet. We've had two musicians, so
yeah, absolute honour. Thank you.
Yeah, you did a really interesting thing recently where you're writing with trying to bring in Celtic folklore into your works, and that last poem was about that.
That's one of them.
Or one of them, I should say.
I'm getting that translated into Irish at the minute, and we must have sat for 3 hours over 10 poems. Cian, I met him at a award we won last year for mentoring with the Irish Writers Centre. Cian, he's a Russian translator, I think, as well, but he's Irish translator. And I wrote 45 poems for it over Christmas because somebody asked me to do it for an event, and I got it down to 27, and he's translated 10 so far that we sat with, and we're going to sit next week with the next 10. But basically, yeah, I'll read this one, the next one. This is one of the ones that's translated into Irish. It's a social contemporary commentary on events and things using the myths as a step-off point. So this is called Magical Cauldron of Dagda. There once on this land was a bottomless cauldron, not one left unsatisfied. It is written. At 10,000 years since ice rolled back, they burned their boats on our shores, spelled the beginning of an oppressive verbose history. I do it now. I write her into our narrative. She stands in a doorway, hungry and just out of our biting winds. We're all destitute blow-ins like her. We're all under the spell of great big loss. Belfast, unless your people were the people who fished the Farset, we're all her.
Brilliant.
Thank you, man.
And I'm just listening to that, and then I realised, is this your fourth book?
It is. That's fourth button press book, yeah.
The first one that wasn't Marty's.
Yeah.
So there's another first.
So
if you're looking for a copy, tough.
I sold out as well, yo.
I think I'm getting 7 copies left.
Oh, classic.
So Button Press is doing well.
It is, yeah. It takes a village to raise this child, and to be honest, the responses from the featured poets like yourselves, like the feedback has really just lifted me, you know, and even like studying the poems whenever I get them, it's elevated my, like getting off the drink really lifted my writing, but like interacting with other poets' poems, and like even the 200 that I put up every day, somebody sends me something every other day, you know, and people come to you with big conversations because it's poetry. You don't go to the page without feeling something massive, like, so the conversation, you feel like a therapist or something.
Brilliant.
But it is fantastic, like.
And the Farstead gigs have come out of that as well, haven't they?
The Farset stuff. So I had the idea of putting, like, honestly, it came, I had a night in the American bar that I was supposed to have you at, but my head's like a
That's right, aye.
So the Farset,
and then I was meant to be on the second one as well.
That's right,
never mind.
So the Farset ones were an apology to you. So you're in the first one, you're in the second one, you'll be in the next one. So every couple of months. So I've been lucky enough to be able to book a few rooms in the American bar every couple of months with a couple of musicians, and then I do an hour of poetry. Like, nobody does an hour of poetry around here. Like, so
yeah.
It's a wee bit narcissistic, like. But sure.
That's what you do.
I know that's the double-edged sword of this.
You know, it's what you do. So, what do you do? An hour straight, or do you do half an hour at the beginning and then have the acts on and then finish?
I have an opening act musician, then me for half an hour, then another musician, and then me for a final half hour.
Right.
Aye.
I haven't been to, I think we're filming the next
right.
one.
No, but I've another one in August and I've another one in September. So
Yeah.
plenty of, don't worry, like plenty.
And so, do you want to read another poem?
I will,
How many?
surely,
Is that 3, 4?
That's 4, and then I've one more.
And then we'll talk to read another poem, and then I'll talk to you a wee bit about what's next for you.
I suppose being a single man on Valentine's Day turned my head a wee bit. I don't know why, but I wrote like 6 or 7 poems. This is called Valentine number 4. Your face missed, yet a figure cut. I'm with you, building you. I have no voice for you yet, but I know your form to be warm, a guzzle. You're courageous, outspoken, and make waves to be known. You are art. You go against tradition to make love heard. Find my faults best at night. Open my head with music you play. We shall cook with precision, linger long on tasting. There may be wine, but I can't just sound out your voice quite yet. Your fire will build, you'll cut me out. I'll wander these streets millennia alone, grieve over form again. Thank you.
So what's for the future then for Marty McKenna? Button press, open mic nights.
Yeah, the loads. Like I'm gonna level up button press. I'm thinking of website for publications as well. Maybe take other people on board too. I have the novella almost ready to go, so I hope to publish that. And because there's no real money in poetry, like so.
There's no real money in writing either.
No
you can't get your book published.
But I think, just do it every day. Like, I think, if people are writing every day, people don't come to poetry every day, but they come to poetry in the big points in their life, like funerals and weddings and loss and love and first love and
mental breakdowns in my case.
Yeah, me too, man. Me too. Like, it was a near-death experience that got me to publish those 3. Like,
same.
It's
exactly the same.
But that's it. Like, so yeah. I have an application for Sailor Town Festival going in. So this last poem, the Terry who run it, it was Ludwig that actually put me on to Terry.
Right.
To say, give Terry a ring to see if you can get into Sailor Town Festival. So I thought I'd write 12, and I've written 12 now, based on a fella called John Campbell, who was a Sailor Town native, and he's got a poetry collection called Saturday Night in York Street, and it's fantastic. So read this one.
Yeah,
finish.
Great.
So Sailor Town number 11. He breathes a life of rhyme into me, all his salty days, brings back fond of my drinking in his kind, a tide of joy in me as a new generation of gulls scatter over a loch I'm imagining, not remembering. I am living a now in hard grafted poems, his keen eye now my history, a psychogeography for us. In a blink of ink he gives us early urban soul, and in remembering we have gold. I hope he knows that feeling of living as significantly as a painting. His pen as true as a compass, poems a solid tugboat of all his words shown.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Thank you.
Well, I'm just going to finish off with one wee comment about this. Marty came to see me paid me a visit, come to see me. Sounds like he's a debt collector. He came to visit on Christmas Day, and we were sitting around and we're listening to a bit of Tom Waits and a bit of Miles Davis and whatever. And Marty asked the question, with button press is going to start. I wonder what's going to be in store for us next year. And I said, I've no clue, because I think we've got the podcast starting up. but I've a feeling that it's going to be our year. And with Marty off the drink now for
6 months yesterday.
6 months.
Yeah.
And with our wee podcast and his button up. That's a record company for Glasgow.
There you go.
Button Press.
Into them.
Going really well at the minute, and we'll strive to bigger heights, I'm sure of that.
Yep.
So it's been an absolute pleasure here at Acoustic Haven to have you on the show. And
Pleasure, honour to be here, man.
Next week we have the Delta Blues.
Fantastic.
All the way from where's he from?
Lagan Delta Blues.
All the way the Lagan Delta Blues man.
Yeah.
Carl Devlin is in next Tuesday. So yeah, and I'll have to chase him up on Saturday at the American Bar where he's playing. And we have Marty. When's your next reading?
So we have, at the end of this month, we have a writers in the round.
Oh, that's right.
Songwriters and poets get together in a circle and feedback. Fun. So that'll be good. That's the end of this month. We're doing sometime in June.
I'm doing the writers thing as well.
We're coming into the writers in the round, and we're doing it in June in Farset, and then
that's right.
Sailortown in June, Sailortown Festival. If Terry takes me, please Terry take me. And then I've one planned for August and one for September as well.
And the American Bar.
In the American Bar for those, yeah.
Okay. And so from Acoustic Haven, every time I say that, I keep thinking, am I saying the right thing? But anyway, from us, myself, Dan, and our guest, our wonderful guest, Marty McKenna, I'd like to wish you all a good week. And until next week, night.
Yo, good man.